Thanks for listening this morning. Got a lot of talk about new Trump term, but if you have retirement questions and concerns, considerations, things you've heard, whether online or around the water cooler, family events and all that stuff, give us a call at 612-504-8400. Feel free to go to havenfinancialgroup.com. Lots of retirement tools. Appreciate all the calls in recent weeks that you guys have presented to us. And all the appointments, Kim, that we've gotten off the show. It's been pretty amazing, and we really appreciate everybody listening.
Yeah, that we do. So as Larry mentioned it, it's 612-504-8400. Set up that appointment. If you can get it in yet this year, be sure you do. But if not, Larry, I know you guys are taking appointments for the first of the year.
Yes, we are throughout December, limited spots throughout the first of the year. That's just around the corner, Kim. Obviously, Thanksgiving will be here, Christmas, holidays. So we'll do our best to accommodate schedules, which is evenings as well. There is no cost for people to come in. It's free time where you get to know us, we get to know you, and talk about the things that are important. Maybe not super exciting, but I love when people say, "Wow, this was so insightful." You ask questions that nobody ever else asked. And you really were never under a time crunch because, we want people to get more time, not less time.
Yeah.
And retirement should be, and I've stressed it many times, more than a meeting once a year for 45 minutes to an hour. There's a lot of retirement topics that go into this discussion, and it's owed to people to have that time.
Absolutely. Yeah, you spent your whole life building toward this. You deserve a little more than an hour once a year. That is for certain. 612-504-8400. That's the number. That's how you reach out to Haven Financial Group. Set up a free consultation. Go in and talk to the experts. Today, we're talking about a second Trump term and how that may impact pre-retirees as well as retirees. One of the things we want to talk about is the stock market. We're about a week and a half since the election. We have seen the stock market rally. They liked that on Wall Street. That's for sure. But a lot of that has to do with the former president, soon to be president, now president-elect, his track record, right, Larry?
It does. If people reflect, under Trump, the stock market was very, very strong. Yeah, we went through COVID and unprecedented times, but the market itself was very strong. So, yeah, the day after the election ended, people's portfolios, smiles were on people's faces because the week following, the Dow was up almost 5%, as well as the S&P 500. It skyrocketed the day after, and again for the last week. So, again, we've seen great returns. That doesn't mean that it's going to be up forever, but it does show that the another Trump presidency is really pro-growth related. It lower taxes, reduce regulation. All the things that the market tends to see as positives, especially for, increased profits for corporations, some boosted stock prices, some real good benefits. Now, I say that, but as retirees, as you plan for retirement, we don't stress enough the importance of having the right recipe for the portfolio. Mm-hmm. Now, in these times, that might there might be opportunities. If you look when he was in the first time, healthcare and pharmaceutical companies, they didn't do so well the first term. And, everybody's kind of keeping their eyes on if RFK Jr. is part of the Trump administration and the war on the FDA, the Federal Drug Administration. There's numerous articles out there about that. And, that's a big question mark because recently I found more conversations leading to what is the U.S. putting into all their food? What type of ingredients? And my wife and I personally got to go to Europe last year on a business trip. And I remember eating over there things that I would normally not eat here, even though I like, just because of the way you made you feel in the middle of the day.
Sure.
And the Europeans were like, well, that's because you Americans put all that extra junk into your food. And I'm starting to believe, and I do believe that there's probably truth to that. So we'll see what happens when it comes to the food wars, if you will. Not that I don't love food, because I do, but then the discussion on the tariffs, which you and I are going to get into,
right?
The pros and the cons with that, and energy, oil. He's more in favor of the fossil fuels more than the EVAs or the electric. Not to say that that's bad, but we've become reliant after he left on oils from other countries rather than being self-reliant on our own oil. And I can, quote Trump. He says, "Drill, baby, drill," and I have no doubt that that's what he's going to promote. So, there's those on both sides of the aisle, but that could mean some lower gas prices, and again, less reliant on other countries. So a lot to talk about, a lot to be determined, but it still is politics. Does anything happen overnight? No, but we certainly can expect some changes. And with that, we can expect, and others I've seen articles, volatility in the market. Yes, we've seen a great uptick, and that's wonderful. But folks do have to be prepared for the volatility because it's inevitable, and that's what the market does.
Absolutely. You bet. Let's talk a little bit. President Trump is talking throughout this entire campaign. He spoke about tariffs. Talk about the impact you think that might have on the markets and what that could possibly do to retirees' investments.
Well, some would say that tariffs, they're bad, 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 but they worked the first time around. And we'll get into that more in the next segment, but it could cause some uptick in prices. However, prices are still high. So, what effect that will be, I'm not exactly sure. There's certain industries I think that people can kind of keep an eye on. Infrastructure spending, could drive growth in the construction industry, industrial materials. His goal is to strengthen the defense. So there's defense companies out there and security companies that might be good options at this stage. We want people to look at all the options and incorporate them. Not that they're going to be perfect for every portfolio or every individual or every family whatsoever. We want to look at all the options, though. I always say, if it sounds too good to be true, ask more questions. Get rich schemes, be careful. We're retirement planning. We tend to be more conservative, Kim.
Right.
Doesn't mean people have to be. What we find is there's still an unawareness out there of what people think they're doing investment-wise, what they are doing. And yeah, it's fun to see the market go up and your portfolio and your balances increase. But caution, the market has bullish markets and bearish markets. It's a matter of where you're at in the timeline of life that matters. So again, don't get caught off guard. Stress test that portfolio, and make sure you're at where you should be at this time frame of life.
So, Larry, having said that, and you've stressed certainly that while we have seen the market going up since the election, what goes up does come down at least a certain amount. How about some of those retirees who are watching this getting extremely excited and saying, wow, I got to get back into that. I'm missing opportunity. What do you say to them?
Discuss that through and through. When you say back in, are you in at all? How much are you in? What is your exposure? Is it adequate? Does it meet where you're at this stage of life? I mean, we have clients, those retirees or not, that say, I don't need the risk of the market, and they don't. And others that say, I got to catch up. I lost track of time. I don't have enough funds for retirement. And then they go way too crazy on the risk level. So it's not for us ever to say you need more risk or less risk. It's what's appropriate, what makes you sleep at night, what keeps you up at night, and a balanced approach. And it goes without saying for married couples that come in, one's more of a gambler and the other one is a less of a risk taker. What's the happy medium? Oftentimes it's skewed one way or the other. And again, where are you? What age are you? When are you going to need the money, if at all? Unless you have pensions and Social Security, that will be suffice. And just this past week, I had several couples that had enough income that they were going to have in retirement just from pensions and Social Security, where they go, we don't, Larry, think we're going to need the other IRAs. That's going to be more legacy. So different circumstances.
Sure.
I don't want to make this sound like this is only for the rich people. It's for those that have very little and those that have a lot and everything in between. It's not about how much, but is it adequate and will it provide for a comfortable retirement?
So if you're someone who's listening right now and you're wondering, as we've talked about, the market volatility and a new administration coming into office and what may happen, and maybe you're wondering, wow, am I at the right place in my retirement to have my portfolio so invested in the market? This might be the time to call Haven Financial Group and sit down with one of their experts, let them look over your portfolio, stress test it. I love that. And make sure that you're in the right places for the future. It's 612-504-8400. 612-504-8400. Give them a call at Haven Financial Group. Set up a free consultation. Tell them that you heard us here on the radio, or you can go to havenfinancialgroup.com. Larry, when we come back, let's talk a little bit more about tariffs. They are sort of a promised part of a new Trump administration. Some people saying that could cost us more money, others believing this could make us stronger in the world economy. So let's talk about that. This is the Haven Financial Group radio show.